Okay, are we on? Okay, welcome everyone to tonight's meeting, and thank you for coming as usual. First off is the roll call. Thomas Aceves, me, I am here. Tim Chiara.
Here.
Linda Alexander will be late, but she said she'll be here still. Lisa Benavides.
Here.
David Eby.
Here.
Catherine Parakima.
Here.
Parankama.
Parankama. Is that how you say it? Parankama? Claudine Pedricelli.
Here.
Awesome. Okay, let's stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, our flag's over there. Grab our flag, Tim. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. First off would be approving the minutes for May and July, which I have in front of everyone. Hopefully you had a time to view them and read them. Yeah, anybody have any corrections? Do we have a motion to consider to approve the minutes?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Claudine makes a motion. Tim makes a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Great. All right. First off, before we get to the item, we're going to have public input. Anyone that doesn't have anything on the agenda, up to 3 minutes per citizen to provide input on any item not on the agenda. And we won't comment on it. Anybody would like to come up to the podium and do a 3-minute input on any concerns?
I'd like to say something.
Uh-oh.
This is real hot, Thomas.
Please, your name and...
Tim Chiara. I saw ex-chief Mike Ciancio at the post office a couple days ago. He looked great.
Wow.
He's lost 45 pounds, and but hopefully he'll be able to come over here and say hello at some point. That's it.
Well, that's good news. I see his wife occasionally, and he's doing really good. So it's great to see his health has rebounded, and he's doing really well. We miss him greatly in the community. He's been a big part of years of input, and
He was always willing to talk.
always, yeah. Accessibility was great. Anyone else would like to say a comment or input from the council or to the podium?
Hi, my name is Angie Carter, myself Craig Carter, and I own the Narrows Family Resort out on Blue Lakes Road. So I can see that Juan's here today, so maybe he can have some input. So for the last couple of years, Juan and Amy Navoa have Rancho Navoa, and they applied for a special use permit to have large events and weddings with live music and up to 250 people at that place. We opposed that, went to the Planning Commission, it was denied. They appealed, went to the Board of Supervisors, it was denied. And then this last weekend, they had what they want to refer to as a family event, and had what appeared to be about 200 people and 40 plus cars there with amplified music and a live band until about 10 o'clock. So my question is looking for guidance as to, once it's denied at the Board of Supervisors, once it's denied at Planning Commission, and so forth, any guidance as to what our options may be?
Well, we can't really comment. I mean, input is, to any non-agenda item, but we can certainly put this on the agenda. I don't know, do we want to make a comment at all?
We can.
I just have a question. Did you call the Sheriff's Department or make any outreach to?
So they started setting up Thursday evening with large tents and bringing in rental tables and chairs and things like that. So I notified the Planning Commission Friday morning and code enforcement. So code enforcement went out there and they told them it's just a family event, and spoke with So I filed an online complaint so that they would go out there, spoke with Marcus. And, and then I contacted the sheriff's department when I didn't say anything when just the regular music was playing over the amplified speaker. I waited till the live music started and it doubled in volume. And that was about 7 o'clock. And then we called the sheriff's department. And the sheriff said, what do you want to do? I said, I just want the live music to stop, go back to the regular music, but let them know that this was something that was denied at the board of supervisors. And so the sheriff went out there at about 10 minutes to 10. And then, of course, the music stopped shortly after 10, a couple minutes after 10. And then I followed up at the county offices on Monday morning. And says right now they're kind of in a gray area because what they told them on Friday when they went out there was it was a family party.
Recording
I
in
understand,
progress.
family parties, but
Recording
usually family
stopped.
events can be, 50 to maybe 100 people, but when you're talking 200 people and, 40, 50 cars, and the whole reason that it was denied was because it was a hindrance on, your neighbors and the music and the fire prevention and all the vehicles and things like that. So I'm just, like, again, saying, they gave some ideas about accessory use because they do have a permit for a single-family dwelling, but the dwelling is not finished and it's not occupied yet, so that's what they're looking at right now to see if it's a violation of that.
We're going to have a topic coming up on the agenda under Copter, which is going to be looking at some issues going on in Nice. If you want to hold off and come back, we can discuss. And if Juan would like to make a comment during that time, we can discuss. This period, of course, we'd like to have comments on anything that concerns you. Obviously, they're not on the agenda, but we can explore this during the Copter, which is about code enforcement. You want to stay around? I mean, it's going to be, since we don't have Sonoma Clean Power, we can get to it not too long. Okay. So does anybody else have input for 3 minutes? Juan, did you want to come up and make a 3-minute input? And then you can make a 3-minute input. We're just not going to.
Sure, I will make a 3-minute input.
And your name
so-
and.
Leave the mic, leave it, just leave it.
Okay, so my name is Juan Novoa, and yes, I had a family party. I have a big family. I was told I was allowed to have it. So the county was called on Friday morning, and the county code enforcement was there in 4 hours. And so a lot of people here that live on Pile Road have been calling and bitching, calling and putting in reports and stuff like that for code enforcement to go out there for 9 months. That's kind of unfair for you guys, I think, for them to put me as a priority for a birthday party. Us Hispanics, I'll give you a little culture here. We have a big family. We put all our money together to throw big parties. That's our culture. And if you're saying my culture and my religion is not allowed here now, that's kind of a little backwards, but that's what we do. I mean, I was there. And as for the sheriffs being called, they were called, but they personally called me at 9:50. No one showed up. He had the common sense to call me on my cell phone and said, do I need to go out there? He said, no, it's not 10 o'clock. He said, okay, but are you going to turn it off at 10? I said, yes. And that's all that was said. And I got the report. There was only one person that complained about any sound. It was my neighbor. But then I also had 3 of her customers come and join the party at the same time. They came over, had some drinks, had some fun, because they wanted to enjoy themselves, and then went back to their campground. So I don't think I was disturbing the peace. I think I was just having a family party. And that's it. I was there. My family. And I was told the codes were from 7 in the morning to 10 at night. So, I mean,
Okay, thank you. If you want
That's
to
my-
stay through the other section, we can.
I'll stay. I mean, I'm here. I was
Okay,
working
Juan,
on my
thank
other
you very
house.
much. Does anybody else want to make an input that's not on the agenda? Okay, step up and say your name and listen to you.
Hello, Worth, Margot Kambara. I don't have a lot to add, just a very little bit about the question of permits and special events. So I know that if you as an event planner expect to have an event, that you need to have a permit, And I don't remember exactly what the threshold is, but I think it's more than 50 people. But again, the exception could be family events. So I just offer that. I think the ordinance is primarily for the nonprofit that's going to throw a special event or a commercial enterprise. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Before we get to the next agenda, I have an input I was thinking about this today. I know when I watch the BOS meetings on recordings, which is mainly where I watch them on PEG TV, they have a lot of congratulations at the beginning and rewarding people's work ethic and service to the county. And I want to say, before we get to the next item, I want to thank everyone here that comes freely on their own time, sacrificing whatever they have to do to be here, including the wonderful council members that have been on here a lot longer than I have, and all of you in the audience that continuously go around to the meetings or to our meeting and dedicate yourselves to asking questions, resolving issues, and sharing your knowledge and vast experience and concerns, because we always have them. So it's a big thing for me to thank everyone that does this, because it's all on your time. And thank you so much. Appreciate it as a chairperson currently, board member, and person in the community. Thank you. And great job. So next item would have been Sonoma Clean Power, but we are having difficulties with Zoom tonight. However, I still want to talk a little bit about them. If you want to watch, if you haven't watched the presentation and need more understanding of their what they want to do and how they want to present, do the power here in this county, it's all over PEG TV and on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to PEGT, Thomas, do so, because it's awesome. And I don't know how many presentations of Sonoma Clean Power there have been. Multiple. I think I just watched, was it Scotts Valley recently? And that was excellent. And the BOS originally, and then all over the place. So I recommend go to PEG TV and watch one of the presentations if you're still not sure about understanding what they're all about. However, I did want to mention that Tom and Margot have been to all the meetings, which they're dedicated to do, and they're awesome. And if Tom, can you make a comment on maybe some of the pros and cons? Does most people in the audience here, have you seen the presentation at all? Any of them? Okay. Tom, can you give a little description in your best manner of what they want to do?
Just leave the mic. It's all right. Just you can just speak towards it.
I mean, it needs it up a little bit.
How about if I just...
There you go.
Okay. Thomas, you can hear me okay? Peg Thomas. I'm okay? You can hear me okay? Okay. Now I can, thanks. Tom Lasik. Full disclosure, I'm not in any way affiliated with Sonoma Clean Power at all. However, I have in my career supported energy company, a large one on the East Coast, Pennsylvania, kind of East Coast. But I have quite a bit of interest in the concept of a what's called a consumer choice advocate. So I do encourage you to take a look at the presentation from PEG TV.
We lost your mic. Hold on 1 second.
Hold on.
What's the moon doing?
No, I think I
you're
got a little
back.
bit of sound.
You're back.
So, yeah, please take a look at the presentation that's provided. I want to do this maybe in. Thomas just asked me to come up, so I don't have anything prepared, but I suggest doing this in 3 parts. One is the timeline, the recent timeline. So the recent timeline is that Sonoma Clean Power in the past approached Lake County to provide what's called a consumer choice aggregate, and I'll explain that in a minute. That was a few years ago. That was essentially denied by Lake County. We didn't want to participate. And I might have my facts wrong, but I'm sure people that were there at the time would correct and do the fact check. Recently in the spring, Sonoma Clean Power reapproached Lake County.
Recording in progress.
Approached Lake County and
Recording stopped.
approached Lake County and said they would like to reconsider having the community within the county be part of their customer base. At the same time, they also said that the idea of geothermal power, which was what the showstopper a few years ago, would not be in consideration as they went through their feasibility study for deciding whether or not it made sense for consumers in the county to become part of what's called a consumer choice aggregate. That was in the spring. In the late summer, the feasibility study completed, and they said, yes, it does make sense for us to extend an offer to the residents in Lake County and the businesses in Lake County. And then they said, well, we'd also like to tack on having the Lake County join what's called their geo zone, which has to do with geothermal power within the county. And the recommendation from the board was, well, before we do anything, before you do anything, we'd like the Sonoma Clean Power to make presentations to the advisory council. So they set up a schedule to present to Earth, Surth, Worth, Math, Scotts Valley, Big Valley, Cobb, as well as Clear Lake, the city of Clear Lake City Council, Lakeport City Council. And that's the process they're going in right now. What I'm hearing is that the point of conflict is the geozone again, and it's gone from not being in consideration to maybe being a prerequisite for Lake County residents to be a part of the community choice aggregate. So that's the timeline as we are at right now. Is Sonoma Clean Power is going from community groups like this one giving their presentations. So let me just try to recall what Sonoma Clean Power has in their explanation what a community choice aggregate is. Today, if you get an electric bill, you get it from PG&E. There's two parts to that electric bill. One is called power generation, and the other one's called power distribution. So the power plants, the solar farms, the wind farms, the geothermal plants, the gas-fired plants, coal plants, nuclear plants, those are all power generators. And then power distributors are the ones that actually have the infrastructure to bring the electrons to your house. If Sonoma Clean Power were to be a community choice aggregate for us, what would happen is that you would be automatically opted in with the choice to opt out as an individual and have your power generation still come from PG&E. Your bill would not, you'd still get a PG&E bill, but instead of electrical power generation coming from PG&E, it would come from Sonoma Clean Power. Sonoma Clean Power does have a considerable amount of green power in relation to what PG&E offers. And they also have a service that gives you up to 100% clean power. Their rates are different, and depending on the year, they can sometimes provide lower rates than what PG&E can provide. They're very conscientious and careful to explain that they can't guarantee that their rates will always be lower, but historically, it has shown that in their graphs that for, I want to say 8 to 10 they were 2% lower than what PG&E offered. You would still get a PG&E bill, you would still have to pay PG distribution, but the generation would come from Sonoma Clean Power. They have several presentations and slides that show how they help the community, things like that. And I encourage you to take a look at their presentation. The third part of this is my observation, and that is when the board asked them to come out and have this discussion, it was my expectation that part of that conversation would be about what's called the geozones. Right now you have Calpine up in the hills between Sonoma, right in the junction of Sonoma, Mendocino, and Lake County is, there's geothermal power generation that's occurring. They have a geozone that includes a portion of Mendocino, a portion of Sonoma, and the maps that I've seen so far show a significant portion of Lake County. The area around the lake is protected. There's, I forgot, and Chair Crandall, I forgot the term, but it's an exclusion zone around the lake. Thank you. Shoreline setback. So that's already out of bounds for Sonoma Clean Power. But the maps that I've seen and the maps that have been shared show approximately all of the southern half and western half of the county are in what's a potential geozone. And my concern is that there really hasn't been a conversation about that. Again, we were told at the very beginning of this latest conversation is that geozones would not be part of it. And now it looks like it might be a showstopper for them if we don't join the geozone, which I think is unusual and frankly confusing and a little bit inappropriate. And the analogy I would like to give is, I'll take this a little bit out of context, but then bring it back into context. If you go to, say, AT&T or T-Mobile or Verizon and say, tell me about your service plan. They are telecommunication service providers. They will tell you, oh yeah, we have a friends and family, you can get a free phone, you can get this type of coverage, we have all these different options you can pick and choose from. And you say, okay, great, I'll pick this option, and they, a few taps of the keyboard and clicks of the mouse, you're now under that option. It's completely invisible, completely transparent. And it doesn't, nobody can tell that you, by looking at you or the way, where you live, that you're on Verizon or T-Mobile. I would imagine that never in your wildest dreams that you would think that 2 weeks later they'd be installing a cell phone tower on your street. That's a different conversation. You're talking service provider, service plans and service commitments from a consumer standpoint. That's a separate conversation from land use and infrastructure. When you get a phone, you don't talk about, okay, where's my cell tower going to go? They would say, don't worry about it. That's a completely separate conversation. So to tie it back to Sonoma Clean Power, instead of being a telecommunications service provider, they're an electricity service provider. The conversation, in my view, should still be kept separate. So when you do look at the presentations and you do look at what is being, what they plan to offer as a consumer, and I'll be, again, full disclosure, I think CAs are in general, a good idea, but I'm looking at it just as a consumer. What it looks like to me to, say, have a power plant in the middle of Big Valley or somewhere else, that hasn't been discussed. And I think a main reason it hasn't been discussed is because even they don't have the answers. They don't know what these plants would look like. They don't know where they would go. There's conflicting and confusing information. Their website shows footprints of plants that are about the size of a house, but then the presentations show multi-acre things that, from my experience, look exactly like a gas-fired power plant, which are huge, multi-acre, multi-story facilities. They say these are deep well or shallow well, high heat, low heat. There's a lot of infrastructure technology that, depending on which conversation you have, you get a different story, but I don't think they yet know. They're excited about the opportunity for geozones, but my own personal observation is when you ask them for that, it's frankly evasive. They don't. We saw the Big Valley slide, and there was maybe 10, 12, 15 slides, and they only mentioned geozone once, and I think that was the main reason, one of the main reasons it was asked to be talked about. So that's all I have, unless there's any questions.
No, I've watched several of the presentations, and my interpretation of it too is that if they do the geo power plants, which they would like to do, they would have to go through the planning commission and everything that you have to do in this county to get them approved. It's not just able to go anywhere they want. I was going to ask Jeff questions tonight, but you know, if we know in the future, if this is an opportunity, say we approve this and they're able to come into our county, and you know, these power plants are going to be very expensive to build, and you know, that might bring jobs to us too. And
Yeah, that's
economic boom to the county that we need drastically.
right.
There's
And
not a lot of opportunity in this county sometimes, and I think, I'm not saying they should build them anywhere, but I'm saying that anything for this county, we know, economically. I'm not sure how many jobs these would be. I'm not sure if the only benefit to these to the county would be just, based on what I saw in the presentations, would just be creating electricity. I'm sure they have to pay some kind of property tax or something for them, but I'm not sure if we're going to get anything off of it, if that's the future of the plants, but I'm sure.
yeah, Thomas, that's a good point. There is the conversation about geozones and the opportunity of building plants and creating jobs for the county. I would add, though, that conversation was largely, from my observation at the Board of Supervisors meeting, it was either not mentioned or glossed over in the meetings like this. That was my observation. So it does need a discussion. I think it's a separate discussion than whether you would like to have, you know, up to, I don't know, maybe $5, $7 shaved off your electric bill a month. And the other thing that is pointed out is that if Lake County does become a part of this, there's a couple administrative things. One is that there'd be 2 members in the county that would be on the board. There'd be 1 county supervisor, and there'd be an alternating city council member from Clear Lake or Lakeport. And there would be a 20-year commitment. If it was just consumer choice, 20-year commitment doesn't really mean anything. In my head, the only reason you would have a commitment like 20 years is if you're talking about dedicated infrastructure. And that's my observation. So I do think it's worthy of an open discussion, but I have yet to see a fully candid, open discussion. You know, in this community, we had a conversation about a biochar energy program or a project not too far from here, and there's value in bringing energy and, you know, having that in our community, but you of all people should know that it's not a one-sided conversation, and you need to look at all aspects.
Okay.
Any questions for me?
I have a couple questions. I'm wondering, Chair, if we've pushed their presentation, can we ask them to include, like, a very specifically, can you please prepare during your presentation to specifically talk about the geothermal geozones? Because to your point, this is a tale as old as time, where people come in and it targets rural communities across the country. It looks nice and cool and shiny, and then it stabs the communities in the back down the line. And you don't even know until 10, 15 years later the negative implications. Not saying that that's this, but I think that we should, because we know that story is a never-ending story, we should be proactive about it. So that's one question I have. And then I also wonder if maybe the supervisor, or if you would know this, So they're doing these presentations, they're going around, they're getting community input, which is fantastic. Thank you to the supervisors for making that recommendation early in the process. What happens next? So that is, if the community feedback is, yeah, we'd love to do the consumer advocacy part, but we're not too hot on this GeoZone thing, are the supervisors able to separate it? Is it entering a contract with them? Is it got to be voted on the ballot? Like, what is the process after these meetings happen?
I think Chair Crandall can answer that better than I could, but those are all, I think, on the table. I think you should ask for clarity on geozones. Just to give it another context, the geozone map that I've seen shows a portion of Mendocino County, the northern portion of Sonoma, and as I mentioned, a large portion of Lake County. The portion that's in Mendocino, I don't even know if it's populated. It's a very small component. I would say it's probably less than 1% based on the census tract data that I looked at. The part that's in Sonoma it does include Cloverdale, so it might be, again, census tract data was kind of iffy, but maybe 10% of Sonoma. But for Lake County, at least the part they colored in red was, again, it's a little iffy, but it's around 40–50% of the county lives in what's potentially the geozone. So it is a in my backyard question. And when I bring it up, I get, well, don't worry, the county will take care of you. The planning commission will take care of you. Nothing will happen unless they approve it. And that may all be true, but we still haven't had the conversation. And I don't know if we should, the other analogy I gave the other day is that if you say, hey, I'd like to buy your car, and we sign a contract for you to buy my car, and haven't yet told you the price, but you already signed the contract, that would be unusual. So, again, this is my personal, I'm not Sonoma Clean Power. I'm sure they would have good answers to everything I mentioned, but I think it is a fair concern. Any other questions?
Well, Thomas, I want to be sure that EJ has a moment to speak as well. But recently I looked up who are the actual holders in due course of Calpine. And through an attenuated group of links, most of them LLCs, it turns out that these are two of the larger investment groups out of New York and are part of the large conglomerate around Goldman Sachs. The last large gift that these combination of intellectuals and investors gave us was basically presented in the very enticing but accurate movie called The Big Short, and led to the debacle of 2008. And so when I read that, I thought, oh, that's not very good for Calpine or rural communities. And I realized that's a very knee-jerk prejudice. But with Lisa, I am also on hyper alert about that. And I would like to hear much more specifics and how the control does or does not pass once these agreements are made. And I defer to you and to EJ.
Yeah, I didn't look into anything on who owns Calpine
Thomas,
myself.
you would just a little closer with the microphone.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't look into the corporation structure for Calpine. I will say Sonoma Clean Power is a nonprofit. They don't make any money. Whether that means anything to anyone, that's up to an individual perspective. But they do bring a lot of money back into the community. One thing that I was particularly keen on is that if you do have solar and today you can sell power back to PG&E if you have surplus. According to Sonoma Clean Power's website, they actually buy your power for a penny more than PG&E will. That rate fluctuates annually based on CPUC requirements. PG&E pays the bare minimum that they're required to pay, and Sonoma Clean Power pays a little bit extra.
But we do know that very recently, within the last 18 months, CPUC did allow.
Can you put your microphone a little closer to you?
We do know that within the last 18 Utilities Commission basically allowed them to cut themselves a nice
Yeah.
reduction.
There was a good comment made at the Big Valley from the speaker there, was that PG&E spends its way to profit. The way they make money is by making more things and building more things, not necessarily by being competitive. Again, I encourage you to look at those presentations. They are informative. I will say I think they did a very good job of explaining what it would be like for a consumer to be part of their community choice aggregate, what your bill would look like, what you can and cannot expect, things of that nature.
Thanks, Tom. Let me have EJ discuss.
We also have a hand raised on Zoom.
I guess the question to EJ is the timetable of the decision-making process on this?
And like
We
what
have a
type
hand
of-
raised on Zoom when you
Okay.
get a chance, yeah.
What type of, so the two questions were, you know, what is this gonna look like next steps as far as, is it a contract with the county, is it a vote, that kind of thing?
It would be brought back to the Board of Supervisors after the presentations to the town councils, and then further discussion from there, whether it be a vote or even just discussion with direction. And that's where it'll go further into how we'll go about it. They've already had their meetings, I think you brought it up, Tom, about their meeting down in their headquarters with their board. There's a lot of other concerns that I have. AB 31, it's a streamlining permitting initiative that gives the opportunity for these companies to just kind of get these projects done quicker through a streamlining process. And that's pretty scary because it takes away from our local authority. I think you guys are familiar with it with some of the housing projects that took place, where the California state was able to, push through some housing initiatives, and then communities would come together and say, hey, why aren't we having local meetings, or why weren't we apprised of it? Because it was at state level. And it was done through the state, so we had no real oversight or any type of authority there. So back to this, you asked timeline. Again, I don't know. I know they've met with Earth so far. I don't think they've hit Surth yet. So when they come back here, I really think it's important, because at Earth, they got stuck with time. I think there was, what I mean by that is you want to probably talk about this in more depth. So it'd be best for you if he comes to this meeting next month or whatever, don't schedule somebody else, because the questions you have and the concerns you have, he really needs to answer those,
Okay.
because we've asked those.
Yeah, I recommend, like EJ says, we can bring them back next month if we can.
And
Get
so
them
real quick, myself and another supervisor met with one of the board members and staff who's going to present here on a side note, and can't really tell you the details of that, but we've been meeting with them on some of these things as well and bringing concerns up. Again, one of the things that you brought up, Tom, was the 2 seats, one shared seat from a city and one county seat, and then you have the whole basic Sonoma and most of the cities down there having seats if we're to join. I mean, it's typical, and it's not really something that I think benefits us, but.
Okay, so we can bring them back for next month, but that's gonna be the only guest we have if you wanna do that. I can see if we can There was a hand raised. Yeah, we'll go to that, but if you wanna do that, I can try to get them to come back and then hopefully resolve the technical difficulties we've had, or maybe try to invite them in person.
Yeah, have them come in
Because they, what's the hand risen?
Yeah, it was Angela. Angela, go ahead and unmute yourself. Let's see if we can get you through.
Okay, no audio.
I'll just repeat your question. We can hear you faintly. I don't know what it is. There's something going on with this computer. Okay. Angela's question was, maybe the Worth Board can talk to the Surth Board and let the Worth residents know when Sonoma Clean Power will be going there, and residents might like to attend the Surth for the presentation.
Right, Surth canceled, so they rescheduled theirs for next month, do we know?
I have no idea.
I don't know either, I'll have to check with them. Okay, so we have one more comment or anything else before we move on? Okay, go ahead, Julia.
Hi, Julia Carrera, Upper Lake, and just to be clear, I am not campaigning in any way. I have grave concern about Sonoma Clean Power. Mind you, when I inherited my family's home in Santa Rosa, I really enjoyed Sonoma Clean Power as our power supplier. We also had solar, and it worked out very well. But I have been in discussion with the CEO of Sonoma Clean Power because of my concerns. And I see this as, I think Lisa kind of said, this long-term issue in Lake County where people come and take our natural resources and we do not benefit in any way. And I see this as a natural resource grab for our geothermal power. I have also, like Thomas said, not been told directly anything about my question about how does the county partner with them so that we're not giving away our natural resource like we have historically and is well known throughout everywhere. I mean, all the counties, all the states, they all know that Lake County historically has given away their natural resources and that they can make a lot of money off of them. That's why our county is so poor, in my opinion, one of the reasons. And so I was hoping to ask my question again here today. And I am extremely concerned that we're going to give away yet more of our natural resources. And just so everyone knows, in the research I did, we have one of the top geothermal potentials in the world. This is a precious resource that is ours. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to move on now. So again, I'll invite Jeff or the group back here. I'll see if they can come in person this time. That'll be on September 17th. Yep. So I'll work on that. You'll see that agenda come out once we lock him in or lock the person in. I'm going to try to invite them in person so we don't have the technical difficulties, so we can ask all these important questions from our group. All the presentations are well thought out. Check them out on PEG TV. But some questions haven't been answered like we want here, and so it's a continuation of that conversation. So, okay, the next is update on. We're going to be doing Worth, as we don't know already. Worth Group's going to be doing a presentation to the Board of Supervisors. We've been invited by the chairman to come to the Board of Supervisors, and that day is going to be September 16th. And that time's going to be, did we get a time, 1:30 or 2?
1:30.
Or EJ, are you still working on that?
Well, it's basically, I let them know that after the 16th, they said the 16th is fine, but if you wanted to do like a later date, it's just up to you to decide what date you want. And I can shoot for 1:30. It sounds like the consensus is like 2:30, but I want to make sure. It could very well be 2:30, but if we schedule it for 1:30, at least you're safe, because sometimes things bleed over. We've had a lot of public input come in that pushes us back a half hour to an hour anyhow. But either way, and if there is a problem with like someone being somewhat late or whatever, I can push it back and add something else in between, so you can have your but I think if you give me a solid date right now, either the 16th or the following week, I can send it to Johanna in the AM and get you a solid date. But right now, she's good with 1:30 on the 16th. again, you would be making your decision tonight, so that's why I was thinking that you will.
Does that sound good? 1:30, the 16th, work for everybody? Okay, we'll go ahead and proceed with that. And if you want to, when you're ready, just text me and I'll get it out to the group. I just want to, thank you, EJ, and I just want to announce that we're going to be meeting on the 27th. We'll be announcing that agenda item for special meeting at the Senior Center, which is next Wednesday at 5:30. And yeah, Thomas is away on vacation, deserved time off, so we will not have any kind of Zoom or any kind of televised recording of it. So in person only, we're going to have a workshop over there, getting all our presentations together. So you're more invited to sit down and work with us or give input on what you think might work best, so we can all work together on this. And we're all going to come together with the presentations and work them through and make sure they look good. We might even do a rehearsal on it.
Are we able to give a deadline to get the slides to me so that I can have it ready by the 27th? I only need a couple days, but we had talked last meeting that I was going to consolidate all of them into one presentation.
Why can't we have that deadline be the special call meeting?
Because then I won't have the PowerPoint ready for the special called meeting.
Julie, you can go to the, you need it before the special meeting, Lisa?
Well, that was my understanding of our last meeting, was that
so we can run through it?
So that we could do a run through. We're not going to be able to do a run through if everyone gives me their slides on the 27th, because then we won't have the final presentation.
Okay, so you have to have it, well,
I only needed a couple days before. And of course we can have things subject to change. But if I can have the slides maybe by that Saturday or Sunday, I could have a completed presentation that we could do our
So
practice
who's doing
run.
slides? Julia, we have slides for the
So
topic of the
my
levy?
first question was when I raised my hand, and I'll answer that question afterwards. How long do we have?
We got 30 minutes, right, EJ? You agree to that?
It all just depends.
Okay. All right, so we'll work with 30 minutes, hoping that we still have that.
Well,
Okay.
I'm not interested in any back and forth. Our committee, I don't believe we are going to have slides. We're going to have one slide.
okay.
And we're pretty much ready.
Okay, can you
That-
get that
That's the
to,
levy subcommittee.
can you get that to Lisa so she can have it ready to be put up there for?
Yeah, it's just a photo.
Okay, at the last meeting, we had said that we were gonna have like action items needed from the board with some bullets.
That's what you requested, and I'm
Yeah,
going to
we're
let
working on
John
it.
speak to that.
Well,
It's just if we're gonna do it or not.
I'm John Laboito. I own the property up there at the diversion structure, and
yeah, just take it off, John, and hold it.
yeah, I'm John Laboito. I own the property up at the diversion structure and a big part of the flood control channel as well. I've been, I guess you could say, living on the levee and watching the river run for about 10 or 12 years now. I was asked to draft a short presentation for Thomas to present at the Board of Supervisors. The committee, we do not want to be in a confrontational status with the Board of Supervisors. We don't want to embarrass the water resources people. Our goal is to try to establish an ongoing dialogue and communication with the Water Resources Department. You know, there are definitely people in this community who have much longer experience and observations than the employees of the Water Resources Department, who've only been there maybe a year or so in some cases. And our goal was to try to establish some kind of ongoing dialogue about this. We were going to attach the statement. I know Thomas has a copy. We were going to attach one very dramatic photograph to the back of it, and that is the view, maybe from a drone, but for the view looking west from the Clover Creek Bridge, where you can just see this massive buildup of vegetation, where you can see that vegetation is forcing the water out of the channel and it's carving into the side of the levee. You know, that one photo almost tells the whole story. So I think the committee's view is to not really have, what should I say? I really appreciate your efforts to pull together slides and all that, but I think we want to take, what should I say, a less aggressive posture with it.
That's completely fine. The only thing that we talked about the last meeting, it sounds like it might have changed, which is you're the committee, you're the ones that have the recommendations, is if we have any asks, it doesn't necessarily have to be an aggressive demand, but if we have any asks, if we're looking for the Board of Supervisors to do any actions, this would be the perfect time to ask. If we don't, if we want to just give a high-level overview of the status of the levee and we just want to have that picture, totally fine too, but it was my understanding that we did have some things that we were asking.
Is that photo going to be on a slide? Is that what it's going to be?
Well, I mean, we were talking about the possibility that when you go to make your presentation, you would have 6 or 8 additional copies of the presentation. You'd give them to the clerk of the board, who would probably distribute them to the supervisors.
We'll talk about this on the 27th then. So thank you, John. I want to move on to the next topics, but...
Okay, I'd like to say one more thing
go
to
ahead.
answer Lisa, as far as what we want the supervisors to do. I think that the one picture that we want them to see, and that is probably the most urgent thing, is what's going on with the flood control channel, you know, and definitely we want them to see a picture of that.
Okay.
All right, thank you, John. So again, we'll workshop this through on the 27th thoroughly, so we can get back into what we originally, you know, we can talk and share our viewpoints on how the presentations are going to be, okay?
Thomas,
Okay.
you,
We did
you
have
asked
other
for a time
folks-
frame, the time, right? You said a half hour?
Yeah,
Each other town council has got 15 minutes, but.
Really?
Yeah, but I can extend it out somewhat. Another thing is, it's not an actionable item that you're bringing. It's your report, but you can do your asks, it's fine, your recommendations and whatnot, because that's the purpose of the body, is to recommend. And you have some good recommendations, so please.
Thank you.
But I mean, again, I can extend.
Well, once we work it through on the 27th, we can time it out. It might be less than 30 minutes because, you know, sometimes you think things take longer. But it's well worth to know that these town halls are, you know, important to listen to what's going on in the community.
So, but we want to, on the,
So we'll talk on the 27th.
but we should have if we're going to say something, we should have it all written down by the 27th.
Yeah, have it prepared. I think I've talked to the levy committee. They're prepared to copy. Everybody have their prepared statements of what they want to do, or a workable statement, and we can help each other finish it out in the workshop if it's not written the way we want it. And then we'll go through it like we're in a play and see if it works. And it may be shorter than 30 minutes. Usually they are. It doesn't have to be. It may be 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. Okay. So website update, we're going to table that till next month. We'll put that on the agenda for next month. District 3 combo meeting update real quickly. We're still doing the survey. I think we have the paper surveys out there.
On the table.
on the table. If you're interested, you can grab one of those before you leave. And we're still getting all the information before we have the first
Big Mac.
Big Mac meeting. So, okay, so the next thing is Copter, and we had an incident. What is the full acronym name of Copter? Do you know that, Julia? Can you go up to the speaker and say it, or do you know it? Yeah, he's with John. He's talking with him for a minute. Okay, so Copter is the program that oversees Nice and Lucerne with code enforcement and law enforcement. And we had an incident on Hudson recently. I don't know if you know this, but the house blew up. It had a propane tank or something happen during, what's that? During the process, the house about 2:30 a.m.
4 o'clock.
I thought it was 2:30.
It was like 3:10.
3:10 a.m. blew up. Now this is a house that has been, I'm gonna actually be calling a participant in because I don't think we have Zoom going, named John Cronin. And you know John, he's part of the, he's a neighbor in that area. And the reason we're bringing this up today is because the house has been red tagged for a long time. So let me call John. He's going to explain this to us, because fortunately when the house went in flames, it did not spread because there was no high winds. The weather was not windy that day, but it could have.
But we were, the sheriff.
But you were
The
aware.
sheriff came by and
You
said,
gotta-
the sheriff came by at 4 o'clock in the morning and said, get ready to evacuate.
Now the reason we're bringing this up is because we know they're doing a lot of successful, hopefully, enforcement out in the field, and we still want to get together with code enforcement and get an update from them. However, this house was red tagged for some time, and I know they worked with EJ on this. So let me get John Cronin on the phone. So since we don't have Zoom, yes, he's expecting the call, so. And then I'll put it on speaker and he can explain. He's been working on this.
Thomas, as a neighbor to this particular house, I will offer that the severity of the fire was precipitously reduced because
Hey, John, it's Thomas. I'm
fire
here on
department was a block
the
away.
meeting. Hold on one second. Are you ready to talk? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna put you on speaker. So, John, just name your name. Some people don't know who you are and where you're at. And go ahead, John.
Yeah, my name's Jonathan Cronin. I live on Hudson and Nice. And I've lived next to this nuisance property for the last 7 years. It was red tagged maybe about a year or two ago. 2 of the structures. One of the structures just recently was red tagged. This house has 24/7 traffic. They deal with stolen vehicles, bicycles, cars, motorhomes. The other night there was a huge explosion. And this has been here for a lot of us for years, is that they're cooking meth over there and then they're going to end up burning down the neighborhood. And this is a 3rd fire on Hudson in the last probably 3-4 months. There was one that burned down the cottage. There was a fire in the middle unit on this property. And then there was an explosion that caused this house to catch on fire. And it was mandatory evacuation. It's just some of us weren't going to leave. I lived directly next door, and there was no way in hell I was going to leave without trying to put up a fight to get out that fire. So the sheriff told me I had to leave, but I wasn't going to. So I stood out there with a hose. My lungs are still affected from all the smoke that I breathed in from that fire. And we're still having issues with them frequenting the property. They're showing up pretending that they want to get mail or getting stuff off the property. Today we had a looter on the property. So it'd be nice for the county to follow up a little bit more with these red tagged units. I feel like EJ's done a lot for us, but there's some sort of disconnect between the sheriff and code enforcement to where they just point fingers at each other. Like the sheriff says, it's code enforcement's issue, and code enforcement says it's the sheriff's issue. And it'd be nice just to get everyone together at the table and say, right? You know, these are the steps moving forward to clean up this property. But we're not seeing any communication between the two departments there.
Okay, thank you, John. I'll keep you on speakerphone for a moment. Did everybody able to hear him okay? Okay, I didn't know how it was coming out. So I guess the disconnect here, like he said, is, and the reason we brought this up, and I need some input from the local neighbors that were highly affected by this, was that the red tag wasn't followed up and people were still occupying this property. I had a house blow up near me over the hillside in Floyd Road in Nice a year and a half ago. Same issue. It wasn't red tag, but it definitely had people in there doing, you know, one person died in that, and a dog died, and the house adjacent burned up, and those people came to our meeting at that time and talked about it. But I think we're getting really frustrated here with the disconnect of why these properties were allowed to continue on. We're trying to find a solution here. I know they're working hard in the field. In fact, I saw one code enforcement officer at the Board of Supervisors meeting yesterday get congratulated for saving people on Bottle Rock because there was a fire there, and he, I think his name was Nelson, and that's deserving. You know, they do great jobs out in the field, but we still have a problem, you know, and I think we need to look at that disconnect and find out how we can help resolve that issue, because these properties that are in Nice that are like this to continue to be like this, I know there's a lot out there, and I think it's, you know, they're working hard, but we're missing something here. So did you want to make a statement, Juan? Go ahead and state your name. And
It's Juan. I'd like to make a suggestion. Maybe the owner of the Narrows can call, because code enforcement's there within 4 hours when they call. In case, you know, I know the gentleman's been calling for months for code enforcement on that drug house before it blew up and caught on fire.
Well, they've come
That's
out,
just
but
my
they have
opinion.
it's just that they haven't kept the people out of the red tag house, and the person in that house, Cliff, who owned it, I think he's in his 90s. He got severely burned, I believe, from this.
I'm not using sarcasm, I'm just saying.
Okay, thanks, Juan. Anybody else have Julie, you want to make a statement?
Julia Carrera, concerned citizen, and in no way am I campaigning. I had about 6 calls from the neighbors there. One of the neighbors who used to own the restaurant and store there, Rocky and Margaret, who's currently in the hospital. They had been making complaints for 6 years. And another neighbor just that backed up kitty corner to that lot, their trees almost caught on fire, but he was out there spraying his hose, and that's why they didn't. That's their grandson. And another neighbor who is 2 blocks away, their whole house shook from the explosion. They had been making complaints for the last 5 years, and in fact were just in code enforcement 2 weeks ago about that house, saying that it was going to blow up. So there is a disconnect, and I don't know how to approach that to make a connection, but I do know this: the community that reached out to me is at their wits' end about it. They feel like it was unnecessary, and that they were told that it was too costly to go out and deal with it, but the emergency that took place was way more costly than the cost for an officer, code enforcement officer, to do the work around this. Far more costly when you pencil it out, which I did with them. I didn't bring it with me, but you know, we need to really look at the facts and make some changes, because a community should not be concerned about drug trafficking for years, a potential blow up of a house that's happening in Nice last week or whenever it was, and Thomas, whenever yours happened, a year and a half ago. It's just not good community living. Thank
Okay.
you.
So let me ask Supervisor EJ, can you comment if we can get them? I know I heard that you were, and you commented you were trying to get the team together, the law enforcement code, and have a NEAS meeting. Is that still
Yes.
being built up?
Just waiting on, I know that the sheriff said he's willing, code's willing, so we just need a date.
Okay.
And yes, this has been going on since I got on in 2019. I'm also a neighbor to this, so yeah, we've had our property stolen from in this area. So I mean, like, this is a disconnect. Yes, it is. And we've got cameras there. We've got the flock cameras. We've got the situation where Cliff, who owns the home, he actually had a tax situation, but it ended up resolving it. There's just been continuous changeover when it comes to the sheriff. At one time, Sheriff Martin, again, some of these comments were made while he was. So it helps to specify with the changeover as well. Since Luke has been in, the sheriff, he's ensured that the sheriff's at least been there a lot more. I don't know if John agrees with that, but I know that previously there was a lot of frustration with that sheriff at the other time. Of course, Prop 36 is now in place. It doesn't necessarily solve the problem, but it's there. There has been complaints about drug activity and whatnot. The biggest thing that they've always told me, because I've harped on them and been going and advocating for this as much as I could, and they state that they're not catching them in the act, despite the fact that John's been giving that information, the community's been giving that information. The same people have been reaching out to me, and I've been passing on their information. I get texts all night. I make calls. I talk to the sheriff when I'm there. I'm on site. So there's no silver bullet, and I don't think anyone can attest to think that there is.
No, I think if you get the team together like we did a couple years ago.
It might be better, again, with a new leadership. The copter program could focus in on this and get that group there so they can
I think
have an idea. We've given them suggestions like, let's do our reporting on that corner. Let's,
I also like to get Copter out here at some point, or the Logan or Marcus, to give us an update of what they're doing, what their goals are, and where they're going to be in another year on it. I mean, I can't do that next month. Obviously, we're going to try to invite Sonoma Clean Power, but coming up, we'd like to get an update. Maybe that can be during this meeting.
The meeting that we had before was at the Nice Christ Community Church.
Yeah,
we can do
with
the
Pastor
same
Rich.
thing, and Nice community members can go to that. But you
Yeah.
can also schedule them to come here just to keep on it.
Yeah, it's a big, go ahead.
Sorry, I have a question, because if we remember at our last meeting, Lynn was talking about similar things, and she lives just a couple streets down. So it is something that's clearly and Hudson, Manzanita, there's a lot of people that live right there. So a fire could take out a lot. And so maybe this is just my ignorance, or maybe I'm wondering if part of the problem is once something is red tagged, what is the partnership between the sheriff's office and code enforcement? Who do the folks call? Because once it's red tagged, who handles that? Who makes sure that that's responsible? So if it is the sheriff, then is Marcus even the person that's going to address it? How does that work?
Good, I'm glad you asked that, because what happens is the red tag takes place, and for quite some time, it wasn't red tagged for 2 years. It actually was yellow tagged. Well, actually, it was one of the buildings out back was red tagged, but the other was yellow tagged. They still were going in there. The sheriff arrested him at least 2 or 3 times. Again, they went back and did the same thing, and it just became a recidivism situation. Then it got red tagged again this time, and they've just been doing the same thing until this fire situation happened. And it goes from code enforcement, and then once they tag it, it's just the sheriff's deputies who would arrest them or.
So we would be calling, if I have a building, because I spent the weekend in Lucerne, and there were 4 houses that I drove by that had the red tag on it. And that had me thinking, if I see somebody, is that the last level of code enforcement?
Yes.
So then now as a citizen, I called the cops.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we look forward, I think that'll happen, and what's the timetable of that? You're just.
Within the month.
Okay,
Yeah.
so John, did you hear that? I think you probably knew.
Yeah, I've spoke with EJ about it.
Okay, good.
And I really appreciate his hard work on the matter. I know he's been trying to arrange these meetings, and he sees the disconnect between the sheriff and code enforcement. Just something needs to be done because these people are going to put other people's house at risk too. These people didn't go away; they just went somewhere else. So I know they're hanging out near Beach Street and a couple other streets here in Nice. So they're putting those neighborhoods at risk now. And if they were cooking meth, which I believe they were, but I don't have any proof of it, then hopefully the sheriff would want to prosecute them. So hopefully they do a good, thorough investigation of the crime scene, find out what started that what caused that explosion. And if it was them cooking meth or something illegal, hopefully they do prosecute them and don't just let them go.
Hey, thanks, John.
So can I give you one more
Yeah.
just reference and insight? I've also not only called as a supervisor, but as a neighbor and as a person. I've stopped the sheriff's deputies and have been told similar things that you all have been told. There's a separation of power. So if people are here thinking that I'm their boss, maybe code enforcement who gets to the point of the red tag, but I can't force the sheriff to do anything more. Dispatch, I've called them before, and there's been times that they've said, okay, well, we've sent someone out and we'll do it again. I talked to the sheriff deals with it, but then it continues. So I don't know if anyone thinks they can change that or make it happen. Just continue to try to work with people is all you can do and build relationships.
No, we appreciate you getting the group together again. I think they just need to hear from the public what's going on. We don't put this, we know where your, what your responsibility is here.
Yeah.
We just need to communicate to them in person what we feel about, and they can give us feedback on that. Sometimes it's just hearing the process out from the person and their department, the accessibility to their communication, understanding it better, and then we can come up with a resolution that might work better.
But I'm glad you brought it here because John has been frustrated. He comes to the board. He's been doing a great job. He actually advocates for a lot of the seniors that live in the area. So with his help, I'm able to work with him and a couple others to continuously be on the same page to at least make the calls and know exactly in real time.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So we look forward to that meeting happening soon. All right, thanks, John. Thank you so much.
You got a comment on
You
Zoom?
have a good night. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Do you hear that, Thomas?
You have a comment from Zoom?
Hey, go ahead.
Yeah, it's Kevin from Zoom here, and he says that he lives in Nice, and at the end of Hudson and Lakeview Drive is an RV that was left on the side of the road. He's called CHP at least 5 times to have it removed. Both code enforcement and CHP aren't taking care of it. It is also blocking a fire hydrant, and then you guys had this fire, I guess, over there. Also, they still haven't taken it away. It's still there at this time.
Did he say how long it's been there? About a week.
It's been there about a week?
2 days after the Hudson
It's been there
fire.
longer than that.
2 days after?
All right, and I forwarded images of that vehicle and the scene to EJ.
Okay.
All
Thank
right,
you,
well-
Kevin, for your comment.
We all look forward to that meeting as soon as EJ can put it together and listening to the whole group.
I think there's another
It'll be
comment.
important. Look for that item to be announced. Hey, Juan, you want to make a comment?
Yeah, on these red tags, as a contractor, I do know PG will take out a meter on a house if it has a red tag, if it's unsafe.
PG&E will?
PG&E will, as long as it's an unsafe house, they will take out the meter and disconnect the power from the top for no fires will be caused.
We have a house across the street from me that a meter was taken out recently because it was
Unsafe.
unsafe.
Yeah, so
and
PG&E will do that if
They
it's an
came by
unsafe
and did
house.
that. So now we got a generator going until, anyway, it's never ending. Any other comments before we get to the next item? Okay, so subcommittees, Pile Road, I just want to say, do we want to dissolve this subcommittee since most of what we have is, I know you still have him going, or do you want to keep it going in case something happens, Dave?
I'm Dave Hendrick from the Pile Road Subcommittee, and yeah, I think maybe we need to go just a little bit further and start talking about some prevention. There's been more dumping out there, and you know, what we can do to prevent, and EJ was telling me earlier that he had some ideas about some stuff that might help.
Okay, so we'll keep it going and then come back together. I know you, if that's the issue, we'll definitely come to the meeting once we get the meeting together in Nice.
Right.
With everyone, so we can
Right,
find
I
out
did
how
want to
we.
mention that both of those places, Cody's and Queenie's, had been red tagged, and we had nobody come out to help. The code enforcement basically didn't do anything, and to call the sheriff, they didn't want to come look. So that was in relation to what you just said and the other deal. The presentation that I'm going to do, I can make it as short as long as you want. I can probably do a minute or two, or I could make it 5 minutes if you like. So we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
All
I
right?
want round back to one thing I missed for the copter presentation. Thank you, Dave. Did you have another comment or?
No.
Okay, thank you very much for all you're doing out there and the team, Dana and everyone. Do we want to do a subcommittee for a copter in the Nice? Would anybody like to participate on that?
I would participate.
So Lisa and I think Tim, Kate.
Well,
Kate, would you want to do a
Yeah.
subcommittee on the subcommittee for that?
Yeah.
Okay, and I think my wife Robin wants to do it too.
just a question.
Sure.
This might be irrelevant, but if more than 2 of us are on it, is that a problem?
I don't know.
3? 3. So we can, so 3 of us, and that's how many, Thomas, were you going to be on it as well?
No, I don't have to be on it.
So then then we're fine.
I think, yeah, Robin wants to be on it, which is my wife. So, and we can add, how many are on the subcommittee? Or,
As many as people want. It's
okay,
not-
so
there's
if
no-
anybody wants to join on it, so we'll do ahead and start a subcommittee on that too. To continue looking into what we can do to resolve issues. Okay? I'll let you guys figure out the first meeting on that, we'll report it. Okay, Upper Lake School traffic safety.
Okay, I've kind of forged forward on this, and Mary and Ray are on the committee with me. The building construction goes on, the chaos on the road goes on with drop-offs and pickups. I did speak at length with Officer Amando this afternoon regarding what can they do as a CHP to do the drive-bys, and they have been doing drive-bys. He wanted specific times, and I gave them to him. And I just said, you know, the construction goes on, and now the problem is that cars, parents, and staff are parking on the roadway as you're coming towards the school on 2nd Street. So if you're coming opposite, you have to swerve into the oncoming lane to get by the cars that are parked and obscuring the safety issues. I told them about that, and I said that I'm very hopeful that we will get Lars, who is now Public Works Director, to come. I said, I am willing to pay out of my pocket for the bumps, the slow down bumps, because it is absolutely a frantic state out there now with the speed that people are going at on these streets. So he said that he would bring it up to discussion in the morning with the officers, and I did share with the school again Tuesday night my concerns, and because the parking is blocked off because of the roof solars, the staff can't park there, so it's just really problematic. And I did tell him that I asked last month about the capacity of the CHP. I said I saw that there was a group of 130 that had gone through the academy, and he said that 1 was coming here and 2 were leaving here. So we're back to the same lack of numbers. But I did go on and expand my concerns about Mendenhall once again, And a friend of mine was riding his bike on Mendenhall and was actually run off the road. And the problem being, it's a race course. You know, it's just the speed is unbelievable. And I told him about the senior center being there. Now, hopefully, he'll bring this back to their meetings in the morning. But again, I urge all of you to call and make reports. He took my report again. Last month, it was my report again. So, you know, people are witnessing this, you know, the excessive speed and the dangers here, but they're not calling in. And they have, the new number is, I gave it out last month. It's 281-5200. And they need to hear from the citizens of 281-5200, and of course 707. And they do answer the phone. They will take complaints, and the more complaints we present, even in Nice, they're more apt to respond and react. And so I'm hopeful. I told them about putting up the stop sign on the private property of the school, and I asked about the right turn, no left turns, and they're still doing it. So anyway, and one other last thing, we have some real hot rodders in this town, and I want to let the citizens know that there was a individual, it's in litigation, I can't share things, and it's probably well known around town, that did extensive damage to the high school field. And right now, the cost to repair and get the field in shape for football and soccer and so forth, $700,000. So go figure, we have got to do something about these people, and I'm not going to say young people, I'm saying people that are recklessly driving in this town. So that's an example of vandalism, yes, but being behind the wheel of a vehicle and doing such extensive damage. So I told them they're going to be hearing from me every month, maybe a couple times a month, but I really urge people to call them and voice complaints.
And that number again is 281-5200.
5200.
Yeah.
And they're very willing to take those.
And they don't have any video footage of that car or that person or anything, I don't take it? Destroyed
yeah,
the field?
Yes, yeah. And
They do?
Yes.
They do have video footage?
But it's in litigation, so I can't really talk about it. Yeah, it's being investigated.
Good, hopefully.
But I was totally shocked sitting in the meeting, hearing that, so.
All right, thank you. So Upper Lake levies, do you have any input on, I know there was some development on that, some positive development recently in the statement from the website or the Facebook.
Julia Carrera, Upper Lake Levy Subcommittee Chair. Yes, Levy Linda has posted in social media that, and she had let me know beforehand, and I did say it here, I think last time, that they're going to remove vegetation and gravel from 200 feet east of the diversion gates to the Pitney Lane Bridge. And I do hope that happens. I've also talked to them about what's going on with the real problem, which is the scour and vegetation of trees that are 40 feet at minimum, according to the drones. And some of them are at 50 feet, and some of them are at 55 feet. What PG&E said was, and I think I reported that last time, not PG&E, excuse me, Caltrans, that there will be no work done before this winter on that section. The section over by Pitney Lane, we were told was to be done in September, October time. And before that, we were told it was going to be done in July and August. And what's happening with the scour is that it grows every winter significantly, at least 3 feet. And so whatever plan they put together doesn't work because it's grown, and they have to figure out how they're going to address that. From my environmental compliance perspective as a seasoned environmental compliance official. We just need to put riprap on that scour, and that will stop that problem, and I'm not sure why that hasn't happened. But, you know, Lisa, maybe we can work that into something at the presentation. I don't know. The committee's pretty set on how they want to do it right now. But we're ready for that meeting next week, and I think that's it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So, Supervisor Crandall, your updates and report? Thank you.
So Julia just basically gave the update about the levies by Linda Rose's bill. Her name's not Levy Linda, but let me see here. So we got you guys garbage day. So the 6th was the ideal date, but because of the Labor Day weekend, they can't do it that day. So the 13th is what I've asked Lars and Michelle Goodman, who I coordinate with, CNS Waste. And so seeing if that's a good date for you all, the 13th.
Is it a Saturday? Yes.
It's a Saturday from 9 to 1. Yes, yes.
And that's going to be at the community park?
Right here in Upper Lake. That's what I tried to coordinate with Lars,
It's at
and he
your
said
house,
he just
Tim.
needs a date.
Upper Lake Park.
Upper Lake Park, just like you asked.
That's a great place to have it, a lot of space.
Right. And it's on the county property, so it's perfect. You know. Don't have to ask or, you know, coordinate with another group or anything like that. That helps. Your update, again, I'm the chair, so like I have the discretion to allow you to kind of bleed over if need be, right? So 15 minutes is the time that you usually give, but it could go more. I know you have some committees and whatnot.
We
so.
might be bleeding. We might be bleeding.
Thank you for that, appreciate it.
Well, no, I didn't mean it that way, Tim. I heard you say it. If it goes further, you know, it's not a big deal. So,
at least 2 hours.
Yeah, maybe 3.
Like a movie.
Yeah. So the update. Let's see.
I have a question, Supervisor, sorry.
Yes.
For the dump days, and I'm pretty sure it's been said before, so I apologize for re-asking, but hazardous waste, is that allowed to be brought?
No, it's bulky items, e-waste, and household garbage. Yeah.
But there is the hazardous waste days that,
Those are specific to like the actual centers. They do those on those days. You coordinate with public services, and they have specific days, and I can get you guys an email with that date.
I have the flyer, thank
Okay.
you. I can send it out to you, Thomas, if you want to send it to everyone. Daniela Santana gave it to us.
Okay. Scott Dam, Lake Pillsbury. So we're in a position now to start making some comments. I won't go into detail because it's been closed session discussion, but I will tell you this. Reached out to the Department of Interior, so hopefully we should have a meeting in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
I've been reached out to them before to have a meeting with them, and for whatever reason, I'm not sure why. I know that some emails came back now that are not they're pushed back. I guess they don't exist anymore because people are not there. So, but we've been able to get in touch with somebody, put some paperwork in to get a meeting between us and Department of Interior to discuss that situation. Let's see. Brought forward a rent stabilization ordinance discussion yesterday. It was pretty intense. There's some folks that own parks that are really opposed to that, but at the same time, I heard a lot of mention today about outside sources coming in and exploiting our county, and our county also means people. So our seniors who live in homes and have fixed incomes, in essence, feel as if they are being ousted out of their places on their fixed income because groups come in that, you know, bring in outside dollars, which a lot of times people are like, well, we want to make sure they spend money in our county, this and that. But where do we draw the line? You know, at least we need to have a base, an ordinance or something that protects them. Because I know that there was talk about, in the meeting yesterday, like $29 rent raise or whatever, but that means something to somebody who's on a fixed income. Social Security is only like $900 or $1,000. The other worry is that people own these properties, and not properties, but they own their mobile homes or their trailers. And then if they're evicted for a 7-day notice about maybe picking up something in their front yard, and they lose it, you lose their whole property over something that could have costed like $200. And so just trying to put things in place to protect them from those types of loopholes that people can use. Yeah, there's a committee or ad hoc committee that I put together for right now. It's myself, Bruno, and Maria, Rachel Dillman Parsons from Social Services, and Lisa Judd, who's the housing ACAO. So we'll be discussing further on how we can mitigate some of those. I really still want to bring an ordinance because we don't have one. So anyhow, whether that goes through and gets passed, either way, if it doesn't, at least we tried. So again, I'm pushing a rent stabilization ordinance, but in the meantime, we'll be meeting on that. Biochar, there's been talks of it being. I've got notice that it possibly will be next week on Tuesday. So I'm not sure if it's looking like it might be pushed forward though. But again, I like the fact that if you come, be prepared in any way, shape, or form. I know for me, if it's in my district and I know that it needs to be pushed forward, we'll push it further out. But I know there was a considerable amount of folks that wanted to see it have the answers from Water Resource or for the California Department of State Water Resources first and go from there. So I just wanted to make sure you all knew that that's on the radar here, and it will be on the agenda. The agenda is not posted yet, so I'll double check in the morning and see. But from right now, the agenda that I've seen potentially would have it on there.
Do you know if the California State has given a response to the Department of Water Resources? Even if you don't know what's in it, do you know, did we receive anything?
I know that there's been dialogue, and I don't know if everything's been completed though, so that's why I'm thinking it might be pushed. So, yeah. So I'll leave it at that, and I'll let them explain it when and if once that comes up during that day. Thomas brought up Hammond Park earlier. I'll just go to, so there was a bid for the construction on Hammond Park, the improvement project, was $2 million. They received in funding to, the amount of the contract is $2 million, and so they're enhancing that park to have like pickleball courts and other things. So that's been something, yeah, it's a good thing. Lars put that together in 2019, and so that park will be enhanced. It's good news for the community of Nice. So I pulled it from I don't know if you were there, but I pulled it from the agendas to make sure that they talked about it. It was last week, the week before. Because a lot of times these things get put on consent, and I'm like, no, I want our district to know some of our stuff positively is on the agenda. So anytime there was like the Lucerne Harbor, I made sure it was pulled. So
Are they going to break ground on that? I couldn't tell this year, or you said it's going to take like 6 months?
A lot of it is usually in the winter time frame. I'm pretty sure it's
So they got 2 pickleball courts. I just heard this at the BOS meeting. 2 pickleball courts.
And I'm trying to pull it up.
Enhancement of the parking lot.
Internet's not working in here. Yeah, it'll be.
I'm not sure what else they're going to
better.
be putting in there.
Yeah.
No skate park, I take it.
You know what? I'm trying to pull it up, but
Me and Tim wanted to go skateboarding. That's why. Enhancement of the dog park. The dog park's really popular. I'm not sure if that was. Many mentioned that.
The dog. Oh yeah, they're probably
Really
going to
popular.
fix
One of the
that,
best.
yeah.
It's the best dog park in the county. I can tell you that right now. At least
That's great.
I think
Is it the Ron Rates? Do they still call it that? They
don't
named
know.
it after Mr.
I
Rates.
might go by there.
In Lakeport, yeah.
Oh.
I go by there on my bike and all the dogs come.
Yeah.
It's a good place. That's great.
Yeah. So that's good news there. Did you ask about the docks? Is that what you said?
No, it was just about the
Oh,
Hammond
about-
Park. I wanted to make sure everybody's aware they're gonna spend that money and enhance it and pickleball. We can all get into pickleball.
Tournament.
Get tournaments.
Skateboarding.
Worth versus Surf.
Skateboarding, pickleball.
That's great news.
That's what I have for now.
Thank you so
I'll
much for
be
the
around.
presentation and of course the doing the Upper Lake trash garbage pickup, which I'll be partaking in. And yeah, thank you so much. Good news on the Interior Department. I keep reading article after article. Press Democrat, SFK, Chronicle have been covering this extensively about Pillsbury.
Yeah.
Every day I see a new article coming up, and it's a big issue, especially about the water rights. That's the issue they're looking at. But if you got the ear of the Interior Department still, I always keep reading about it thinking, oh, this is a done deal.
So a group from Lake Pillsbury had a chance to meet with them as well.
Good.
So I'm not sure how it went per se, but I know that they got their opportunity to speak to some officials, you know.
Is the tribe, I've heard the tribe, I'm not sure, is the tribe going to get money from this, like $700,000?
The Round Valley Indian
Round
tribes
Valley?
will be, yes, they've got funding for the diversion.
They'll get money that much every year from the diversion water rights?
Something like that, yeah. But there's other tribes that are now starting to speak up. I know the Potter Valley tribe feels as if they haven't been included, so they put in some concerns on that. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for all working on that. That's
Forgot
great
to
news.
mention too, there's been 1.4 million pounds so far out of District 3 when it comes to the dump days for Cal Recycle. So hopefully we'll add more to that with Upper Lake.
Oh, we will.
Yeah.
I'll give you $1 million myself.
A quarter of that was mine. No,
Is there,
thank you. Okay,
Julie asked if it was one day. I mean, we can look at another day if need be. Let's see how it goes and we'll go from there.
is this ad hoc committee with Maria and Bruno and yourself and, I didn't hear the two other names clearly.
Oh, so it was Lisa Judd. She concentrates on housing for the admin office. And Rachel Dillman Parsons, who's the social services director. She also is basically deals with adult protective services, and also is in her purview of work is housing, vouchers, and housing in general, and the area agency on aging, which I'm on one of the committees I'm on as well.
Have they solicited input from several of, for instance, Meadow Point residents, as opposed to the company that now owns Meadow Point? Because the number of trailer parks in residential areas where mobile homes are have experienced a lot of buyouts, and the result has been a number of inflationary increases in fees of various sorts, not just plot fees.
I believe that's also a nationwide thing going on,
It
too.
is a very big nationwide thing, and there's a significant amount of legislation going on, I think, in central Petaluma. I believe
Petaluma.
the metropolitan area around Petaluma has a very large piece of criminal legislation on that, or litigation rather.
So it might be a timely.
So this is a very timely thing for us to be monitoring.
Right. The model of the draft that was put together was based off of Humboldt's, because there was others, but they were from like the city and whatnot. I didn't want to really, compare and contrast to like Orange County or San Bernardino County. So we worked to try and tailor ours to Lake County through Humboldt's ordinance. But again, it was a draft. It can be crafted here and there, but the committee that we're going to be a part of isn't necessarily about, they wanted to make it more broad. Again, I want the ordinance, so, yeah.
Are they going to have hearings?
Well, as of right now, it's the ad hoc just to put it together, and so that could be something. I think in the first meeting we'll specify what we're going to do from there. I've met with two of the actual parks. I have no problem going to Meadow Point if need be, because I know that there's been folks from Meadow Point that have reached out to me. And then also, there's a couple others in like Lucerne and whatnot, so.
I just want to say thank you for your work on this, because it is rent and housing prices is like the #1 sign of gentrification coming. And so when you see that our seniors are being pushed out, or residents being pushed out, because bigger companies are coming in, and so that folks from the Bay that want to drive 2.5 hours to work but want to afford nicer houses, like this is really critical work. It's the same, we talked about it on the Lake County 50/50 plan or 2050 plan, 2050 plan too, of like, we have got to ensure that all of our neighbors can afford to live in the community that not just they grew up, but their mother grew up in, and their mother's mother, and their, you know, like 7-8 generations in. So I just want to thank you for that. I have a neighbor here in Upper Lake who had to leave Upper Lake because her landlord increased her rent $200 in a month. You know, she didn't have a lease, and so it was time for the like increase to, you know, you can sign a new lease, here's the rate. So, and she didn't think it was legal, but she also just didn't want to fight, you know. So I think that this is really a critical time to have this conversation.
Those were the things that were brought up yesterday that I had concerns about, and that is they use capital improvements, which is, of course, there's a lot of law in the state that gives them these opportunities to, you know, increase rent. They only have 90 days to let them know when they're going to do it, and so there's that. There's also when someone does move out or gets evicted or whatever. Let's say that the legacy person has lived there and paid $500 for their lot, and then someone else moves in. Now they're paying $725 or $750, and then just so on and so forth. And that's a big concern. You know, that's why we put this together. And then the other people that are opposing it are just saying that it's eating them apart. The biggest thing that we're concentrating on is seniors, disabled vets, and disabled folks. And there's ways to go around this by like in the parks. If they're going to try and make it an all ages park, well, here's the percentage you have to have in place. I know that the park, the Palace Place, has like a percentage of how many folks with mental health, you know, issues can live there, and you know, and so on and so forth, and you know, people that have limited income and whatnot. So those are things we can look at, but there's fear factor from the groups that are opposing it, saying rent control and you're going to limit us and you're just trying to take us out of business, and you know, that's just a fear thing. We can work to the middle and get some things done so we can protect.
When you're listed on the New York Stock Exchange, that's a very tragic event.
What, one of these people buying a park?
Thank you very much. You have a question for?
Tom Lasik again on the mobile home housing. So I do encourage everyone to look at the hearing to see what was said, and most importantly what wasn't said. But I have a question for you, because after that meeting I got an email from a person that had their rate increase 100% in a couple years. And the reason I ask is because they're afraid to come forward because they're using those citations in this person's view as a retaliatory measure. Is there a way that people that are in these parks can communicate safely without, you know, fear of retribution by the mobile home park owners? That maybe you could suggest something that gets your subcommittee the information they need in a safe manner without compromising the residents, because they're afraid, so, as you know.
Right, I've got a couple of other folks letting me know about that, and there is a group, and I have to get the name of it. There's an agency, if you pay a fee, they'll protect you, or so they say. That's one. I don't even know if it really works, but I know if it's a senior, I mean, Adult Protective Services is a way to go, but I think that's something we really need to look into, and not only look into, but just bring to that committee so we can ensure, because right now, what measures in place to protect them if it happens? And that's why a lot of people don't want to come forward, because they feel like they're going to be attacked. The folks they were in the room commenting about somebody and their complaint and their, you know, if you notice, their 7-day violation or whatever, and so they know who's who, and you know, so they're really worried, you know. But yeah, That's part of it, yeah, that's part of it. But this group's been coming for 18 months to the town hall in East Region. I think too, I know that there's folks at Meadow Point that have the same issue, yeah. Matter of fact, the Meadow Point owner has asked me to meet with him. Yeah, he's been asking, so. Just
All right.
letting you know that.
All right, thank you. We're going to move on to announcements.
Oh, I'd like to make an announcement. On Wednesday, August 27th, at the Upper Lake Senior Center, we will be hosting the Northern, oops, I better put my glasses on here, Northern Rural Energy Network program. They were here a couple months ago. 12 to 2. So they suggested that if you have questions, and I've got to confirm this, that Jennifer was trying to get a PG&E rep there. So if you had issues with your bill or couldn't understand things, somebody will be there, and I will confirm that. So they will be presenting, and we'll have a luncheon to follow, and each individual that attends the presentation will receive the box, and she talked about it, which would contain some low cost, the light bulbs, power strip, some sort of, I don't know what the film is, I'm not sure. But
And they were talking about
yeah. So anyway, it's a
weather
nice
stripping.
weather stripping, yes, and then another type of film, but on
So what day is this on again?
Wednesday, it's the same day we have our meeting, yeah, so, yeah, 12 to 2, and hopefully people will go away with some knowledge. And
On the
a box.
17th of
The
September.
27th.
Oh, the 27th.
27th.
Oh, okay, well, maybe we could.
And we also have our yoga on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11.
All right, thank you.
I have a, first I got that box from that group.
Oh,
It's
did you?
amazing.
What was
Yeah.
it?
They had an energy monitor, a couple weather stripping. They actually had a light bulb that is a regular light bulb, but then when the power goes out, it acts as it has a battery in it so that it stays on. It was an expensive box.
Right.
So
Well,
it was
the-
nice.
The problem was we had to up our luncheon because she ran out of boxes.
Oh.
So I'm hoping that she doesn't run out, because there have been a lot of interested individuals.
The other announcement I have is on, we just had our last Grange meeting, monthly meeting. We gained 4 new members, which is really exciting. Our next Grange meeting is September 9th at 6 p.m. at the Bachelor Valley Grange, 9355 Government Street. All right, we know our sign is wrong. We're gonna work on it.
All right, great job on that. I keep seeing things change over there, and one of these days I'll try to go over there. It's just kind of hard for me because I'm working, but great job, Lisa, and the group. Any gleaners tomorrow, right?
There will be a Gleaners distribution at the Nice Event Center, which is formerly the Sons of Italy. I recommend people get in the traffic queue by about 7:15, 7:30. It will run from basically 7:30 through 10 o'clock, and no one will be refused.
Great.
Do you know
That's
how many
great.
do you have?
How many do we have?
Have food for 244 households tomorrow.
Yeah.
And as an extra event, Rock of Faith Community Outreach Church in Lucerne is reopening as a Gleaners site and will be available.
Right here.
There's an additional site for the Gleaners that is open tomorrow at Rock of Faith Community Outreach Church at 4555. It's a street that begins with F. It's right there at Sandy Beach as you enter.
Yeah, you'll see the line of traffic.
Not Fallbrook. Do you remember?
I don't know the street, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. And one thing about Gleaners, if you'd like to help out tomorrow at 6 a.m., you can see me, Tim, and other dentists and all us slinging boxes. But if you'd like to come out, 6 a.m. over at there, we get started. It's a lot of fun.
At Sons of Italy?
Tim will boss you around. 6 a.m.
At Sons of Italy? Sorry.
Yeah.
New name?
It's called the Nice Event Center.
The Nice Event
But
Center.
it was formerly the Sons of Italy.
Yeah, just park in the back, and then we'll wait for the truck, and it's a lot of fun. Also, and real quickly, if you ever want to join up with me and the Nice Cutoff group, we're going to be doing some cleaning soon. I know Tim's excited about that. I don't have a date yet, but before you leave, if you want to join in, get some exercise. We usually do them Sunday mornings. It's getting bad out there again, so pretty bad. Okay, thanks, guys. Motion to adjourn?
There's
There's one more person? Okay. Go ahead, Margot.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Margot Kambara, Lake County General Plan Advisory Committee representative, with some news for you. Parallel to the general plan and the local area plans being updated, the county's climate adaptation plan is being developed. This is supposed to be our roadmap for preparing for and responding to climate challenges. The climate vulnerability analysis has been completed by Lake County, City of Clear Lake, and City of Lakeport. The next step, community input is needed. There is a survey on climate vulnerability analysis findings, suggestions, and obstacles to implementing climate resilience projects and programs. So the survey is open. You can find it on the Lake County General Plan website, and that is Lake County 2020. The URL is www.lakecounty2050.org. And that should take you to the landing page for the survey. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
Tammy Alexei, Lakeport resident for the moment. First, I want to congratulate Kate, who is a certified forklift driver now.
Wow, nice.
And then I have some positive pictures, if you want them for your report, of the bridge on First Street before and after, because they did a really good job. Also, Claudine reminded me, Listos, California, they will give you a box also for a block party, and it comes with a bunch of really nice stuff. So all you have to do is Google Listos, California, look probably on the disaster ready guides back here, and they'll send one out for you to do a block party in your neighborhood.
Awesome.
And then last but not least, super exciting, we are having a GMRS work group. GMRS radios, General Mobile Radio Service. You do have to get a license, but you don't have to take a test. So we are focusing on groups, and I heard that there is a group that wants to start both in Blue Lakes and has started kind of in Upper Lake. So if you could get those people to me, I can give them the information about this. It's going to be September 8th at 1 p.m. at the Kelseyville Presbyterian Church. We do have kind of limited availability because it's like 50 people, but we're really trying to focus on getting the groups that will be active all around the lake. So we're really focusing on like our resilience centers around the lake and getting them to come get practice. If you are a co-ed member and with the Resilience Center, you'll get a free radio. And we do have a few extra that were given from Sonoma County. And our instructors are coming up from Sonoma County.
So Tammy, is this
Monday?
Is this similar to like a ham radio type of setup?
No, it's
no.
It's a step below a ham radio.
Okay,
ham radio, you have to go through an extensive test.
We have a ham radio that's actively on standby at the senior center, but I can't answer it. That you have to take the test. And I looked at the test and I go, oh, okay. So all right, gotcha.
Yes. No, it's a little handheld. Okay. They're about $25. Usually buy them in pair of two for about $50.
So, is it for a safety type of?
Yeah. So there's a group up on Cobb. I gotta look at my notes to figure out the name. Cobb AlertNet, and they have active members that in a disaster they check in every week with each other, and so on. What we want is that to be duplicated around the county. Perfect.
And it's
Okay, I have a flyer for you.
So class is on Monday at 1 o'clock?
One day at 1 o'clock.
Oh, it's tough for
Yeah.
Working.
The focus is though to really get those key people that will come to the meetings every week and, you know, check in on their radios with their group. So even if you can't take it, you don't have to have a license for this. I mean, you have to have a license, but you don't have to take a test. So it's really easy. You just pay and get your call number. They do, perfect. That's good to know. Is it just here in Upper Lake or is it all? Okay. So I want to make sure that we get somebody there. I also have Mel from up on Cobb AlertNet, and he's going to do a couple of slides in the presentation. So.
All right, thank you.
I think that's it. Yeah.
So is it gonna be like CB radio?
No, it's a GMRS radio. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and you do have to get a call sign for it. That's how you get your license.
All right, guys, thank you so much. If you want to stick around and we can, so anybody else have an announcement? Motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you guys so much.